Hello everyone, welcome to Daily Question Analysis brought to you by Shankar IAS Academy. This is for the day of 6th of September 2025. And before we start, do subscribe to our channel for regular updates. Now we move on to the questions. This is an UPSC previous year question of 2010. The question is regarding, though coffee and tea both are cultivated on hill slopes, there is some difference between them regarding their cultivation. In this context, consider the following statements. They are asking the correct statements. First one is, coffee plant requires a hot and humid climate of tropical areas, whereas tea can be cultivated in both tropical and subtropical areas. Yes, this is correct. Second, coffee is propagated by seeds, but tea is propagated by stem cuttings only. This is the keyword, only. Because of this only keyword, the statement is wrong. Tea can be cultivated by seeds also. So the answer will be option A, one only. We'll move on to the next question. This is a PYQ of 2019. Which of the following groups of plants were domesticated in the New World and introduced in the Old World? New World means you can Americas, the North America, South America, and the Old World refers to Asia. So in this options, if you feel like it's confusing, you can eliminate the easy ones. Always go from the easy ones. So you can easily eliminate cotton and wheat. These were already in India. So you are left with option A, tobacco, cocoa and rubber. So option A is the right answer. Next is a previous year question of 2018. Consider the following items. Cereal grains hulled, chicken eggs cooked, fish processed and canned, newspapers containing advertising material. Which of the following items is or are exempted under the goods and services tax? Now this is with regard to this particular year, but since it's a PYQ regarding GST, we have taken it. This list will keep on changing. So please refer to the updated list before going for your prelims exam. From these, this fish processed and canned, these are not exempted under GST. So the correct answer will be, if you remove option 3, the correct answer will be option C, 1, 2 and 4. So also regarding the GST, do check about the GST Council, how its voting is done and its relation to federalism and center-state relations. The next question is regarding a PYQ of 2017. This is also regarding the GST. Question is, what are the most likely advantages of implementing the goods and services tax? They are asked to check the correct answer. Before going to the statements, it's better to check whether they are asking correct or incorrect statement. The reason is, by doing this exercise, we will be checking whether they are asking correct or incorrect statements twice before marking the options. So it will reduce the chances of missing out whether we have been asked incorrect or correct statements. So we'll go on to the statements. First statement is, it will replace multiple taxes collected by multiple authorities and thus create a single market in India. Yes, this is correct. It will drastically reduce, this is a keyword, the current account deficit of India and will enable it to increase its foreign exchange reserves. Now this is incorrect. It will enormously increase, this is also a keyword, the growth and size of economy of India and will enable it to overtake China in the near future. This is also incorrect. These two are like extreme words, so these two statements are wrong. So the correct, they have asked to check the correct answer. The correct answer will be option A, 120. Now we'll see another question. It's regarding the its question is, match the committees with their key recommendation. So in list 1 you have the committees and list 2 you have the recommendations. The first committee, statement is Ujit Patel committee, and the recommendations are revising and strengthening the monetary policy framework. Second one is Raghuram Rajan committee, and the recommendation for B is banking sector reforms on the border Indian financial system. Third committee mentioned is Nachiket More committee, and the recommendation mentioned is focusing on financial inclusion. They are actually matched as it is, so the option A will be 1A, 2B, and 3C. So option A will be the correct answer. Now we will see certain mains question for practice. First question is, coffee production in India has traditionally been concentrated in the southern states. However, in the recent years, the northeastern region has been increasingly focusing on coffee cultivation. List out the major coffee producing regions in India. What are the opportunities and challenges associated with the expanding coffee production in Northeast? So there are actually three parts of the question. The first part is list of the major coffee producing regions. Second is the opportunities, and third is the challenges. So you can introduce the question by stating that we are the seventh largest coffee producing nation in the world, and directly you can address all these three parts. So the first part is list of the major coffee producing states. You can mention about Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu. Also, you can take the help of a map. You can draw these regions in map itself. Second part is about opportunities in of coffee production in Northeast. You can mention that you have favorable agroclimatic region. It also will provide alternate employment. It will generate employment, and it will also it has a linkage with Southeast Asian nations, etc. In challenges, you can mention that it is prone to frequent, you can say, heavy rainfall. Also, there is a lack of infrastructure, and there is lack of linkage with northeastern states with the Indian mainland, etc. And then you can conclude with a statement. That statement ensure that the concluding statement is in a futuristic or optimistic tone. Do not conclude in a negative way. So this is the second question. It's a case study question, case study based question. So the question is, case study is, in a district where vaccination drives are being conducted to eliminate preventable diseases, health officials are facing stiff resistance from a growing anti-vaccine movement. A section of community influenced by misinformation spread to social media and local leaders believe that vaccines cause severe side effects and are part of larger conspiracy. The resistance has led to sharp decline in immunization coverage, resulting in the re-emergence of diseases like measles and whooping cough. As a district health officer, this is important because you need to know what role you are what role you are assuming. You are under pressure from the state government to achieve the vaccination targets while also facing hostility from certain community groups. You are committed to protecting public health but also uphold ethical values like autonomy, trust, transparency, and respect for diversity of beliefs. Now the questions are, what are the ethical dilemmas you face in this situation? Before addressing these questions, one thing you need to remember is you should know what role you are assuming. Here you are the district health officer. Remember, you are not the police officer or a collector of this district. Second is, before directly addressing these questions, you can mention the one line or two line short introduction about this case and then address these questions. So the first question is, what are the ethical dilemmas you face in this situation? The ethical dilemmas, you can mention it as right to individual liberty versus public health. You can also mention of truth versus misinformation, and you can also mention about duty to state government versus duty to community, etc. Next is, you're asked to identify the stakeholders and their concerns. See, both are required, not just about the stakeholders, you also need to mention the concerns. The stakeholders includes the local community first. So the concern is the adverse effect of this vaccine and its implication. And the second stakeholder also, you can also mention about the this anti-vaccine movement leaders. They also have a similar concern. Third stakeholder is the health officials. Their concern is they have to go ahead with this vaccination drive and vaccine the public, but they are facing stiff resistance from them. Fourth stakeholder is, you can mention about the state government. They also want to implement achieve this, implement this vaccination, but they are also concerned about the public health. So these are the things you can mention. Third is about to discuss the possible options available to you for addressing vaccine hesitancy, along with their merits and demerits. So you have to mention the possible actions along with their merits and demerits. So first one, for example, you are mentioning it as I'll enforce strict enforcement of this vaccination drive. So possible merit is you can prevent deaths because of this of this vaccination. Demerits is that you may uh, face stiff resistance from public, and it may also lead to law and order issues. Another possible option is that if suppose you leave the decision making to the people itself, the merit is that okay, their sentiments are upheld, but the demerits is that since these diseases are re-emerging, there can also be a catastrophic uh, disease outbreak and lead to major deaths. So these are all the options which you can mention, and you can also mention other options also like community engagement, etc. Fourth one is suggest a course of action that balances public health imperatives with ethical considerations. So you have to suggest a course of action. Here also, just don't mention what in a single line. Mention the steps you will be taking. For example, first you will mention that I will have a community engagement with the people, or before that also you will say that I will have engagement with the local influencers who are spreading this, who are having this anti-sentiment, anti-vaccination sentiment. First, I will try to clear their doubts or their misinformation. I will publish those data regarding these vaccinations, public in the also in the regional language. Then you will have a community engagement with the local people. There also you will be using a regional language you can mention. And also you can mention that you will also take help of these local influencers who have changed their opinion after your engagement with them. You can also mention that as a preventive step, I will ask this police support for the health officials, so that if in case if there is any act of violence committed by the public, this police can be used for support, so that it does not spiral down to any bigger law and order issue. And then you can end this case study question by mentioning that all this thing, the ethical values you have upholded, and then you can end this question. That's it for today. If you find this video helpful, please like and give your valuable feedback, and also subscribe to the channel for regular updates. Thank you and have a nice day.